Well, I have another issue. Started this summer, puking oil everywhere. I came in one day after mowing, and all the oil leaked out onto the floor, hence the kitty litter and stuff underneath to absorb it. So I think what happened was the seal that keeps the oil in at the crankshaft, obviously I know nothing about engines, has sprung a leak. So I need to pull the engine, replace that seal, and put it all back together. And I'm not even sure I can get it all apart. So I bought it in 2000. It's 20 years old. It's been very, very good as far as a Craftsman goes. Not my favorite mower, but it was what I could afford and had access to at the time. In 20 years, I guess I can't complain. I just don't think it mows as well as the bigger, faster mowers. Even though I keep the blades sharp 3 times a year, maybe I should do it more often, but it's a pain to sharpen them because you got to pull the deck completely off, and that's a pain. Although I do now have a car jack, so I guess I could lift it up and struggle under, but I'm not sure which is harder. So I'm going to clean all the old grass out here and scrape off some of the oil and see how to get the hood off, and then I'll be back. Well, I got the deck out. It's a mess, covered with grease, so that'll make it a lot easier to work on. Now I'm going to work on removing the hood, and maybe I should get this tin out of the way so I don't make so much noise when I'm walking around. Okay, the battery's out, so now I don't have to worry about the engine starting for some strange reason. I had a concern about that. I suppose if the key is off and nobody else is around, you should be safe, but better extra safe than sorry. So there it is, jacked up off the ground. I need a 1/2-inch impact wrench to take off the 5/8 bolt holding the pulley on the bottom. The seal's on its way, and I don't have a 1/2-inch impact wrench. So here I am again, folks. I'm underneath my lawn tractor. I got jack stands under it, so hopefully it won't fall on my head. If it does, call somebody, would ya? So I've been waiting on my impact wrench to arrive. I had to buy a $250 tool to be able to take that off. It's cheaper than a new tractor, though. I believe what it is the drive shaft, crankshaft, whatever you call it, coming out the bottom of the engine. The seal has failed. As you can see, the grease and oil dripping off the pulley for the blade belt. Drive belt is still installed above it. That may be a problem. I may have to take that off. So I am ignorant when it comes to these things. Hopefully I'll be able to get this off. So I think I might even have a camera angle for a second. I already loosened that. It only took a second, as I probably mentioned already. But look at that. So hopefully you can see that's the shaft that comes out of the bottom of the engine, and up there is a grease seal. And to get that seal out, I'm going to do something that might be crazy, but that's not uncommon in my vernacular. So what I'm going to do, I don't know if I can get a shot, I'm sure I can't, inside of that. So I'm going to take a screwdriver and a screw, and I'm going to drill into that seal. Okay. Then I'm going to take a trusty hammer. I'm going to catch that seal, I hope, and pull it out just like that. So there is the seal. That's where I just put the screw in.
So I am guessing with a lot of confidence that that was the issue. So I just happen to have a new seal here, but being old, I don't know if I can get in the package. I always think of an old lady sitting there with her cereal, dead at the table, with her teeth gnawing on the package because she can't get it out. All right, I am going to get some oil and oil that up, and it will go back in just like that. Size is the same. That's good. Well, at the risk of jinxing myself, I'm going to say so far so good. And make sure that's nice and clean. Check this again now that I got boogers on it. This is going to be interesting. Getting that started. So what I think I'll do is I'll take the old seal, turn it wrong side around, a piece of pipe that won't fit on there unfortunately. Darn, I was hoping that would fit on there. Well, if I do it this way, at least it'll give pressure clear around the whole unit. Line it all up. And if all else fails, hit it with a hammer. Holy Christ, it worked. Probably didn't need such a big hammer, maybe. That would save me 4 pounds of... and the bulk of the head. Watch me hit my finger. Or hear me hit my finger. There she goes. Almost in there straight. Well, it's back on. Who'd have thunk I could do that? It was not as difficult as I thought. Having the right tool made it very easy. I believe I got the tool free. If you think about how much it would have cost me to drive this to a shop, it's $35 to have him pick it up and deliver it each way, plus the part, plus labor. So I think I saved pretty good money if it works. That'll be yet to be determined after I fill it with oil. Now the easy stuff. It's simple, but because of all the grease, I keep calling grease, oil, spitting around there while I had to mow the last 2 times. OEMs, so it shouldn't be a problem. Yes, I did drain the oil. It appears it didn't drain all the way. And I oiled the front. It looks clean. Carefully I will reinstall. Hand tight. And then rag tight. There we go. So most guys are probably laughing, but I didn't have a father at home, and I didn't have anyone to teach me these things. So even at my age, it's still a process to learn, understand, and do these things. Safely too. So I'd say that was so far a success. I guess while I have the hood off still, put on the new air filter. Put these back on. That didn't work very well. I don't have enough breath. The reason I'm putting these, I'm cheap, I'm not going to open another pair. There we go. Dry heat. Alright, the reason these are, I need to coat that foam motor oil. Squeeze it all in real nice. That keeps the fine dust from going through. Getting into the main filter. What price this was, and I realized there was a rubber bushing in there that squeezed. Now this thing goes on exactly like it's supposed to. That. Okay. Make sure that's clean. Shut off oil. Hopefully that's on correctly, but I'll find out as soon as I pour in some oil. No quart. I got to remember what the spec is. So I'll hook the battery back up. I took it out for cleaning. The oil was so bad, and grass and dust. And now I think that is it. Took me a good half an hour to figure out where the bolts were for the hood. As it turns out, there are no bolts for the hood. It just sits in like that. Hook up the headlights, which I never use, but hey, they work. Okay, let's see if she'll run after all this time. Then I'll be able to see if the oil leaks after it warms up. What do you know? So I'll leave it in a clean spot, and if there's a puddle of oil under it later, I know I failed. If not, I'm good for years. Well, it appears the kitty litter's dry, so I would call that a great success. Still got some oil and grease to clean up off the tractor, but that's easy compared to what it was. And I have to reassemble the deck. I took off all the wheels and the blades and scraped the buildup of grass out of there. I might prime it. There's a little rust, but it's 12 gauge. Might even be 10, so it's pretty strong. I bought new wheels and a new roller for the front. So by the time I level the deck, it should be relatively new lawnmower again. So I bought this truck for $200, runs like a champ, has 180,000 miles on it, and it is rusty as heck. But I happen to have this 1994 Ranger I bought years and years ago, and it's been my favorite vehicle I've ever owned. I guess the freeze plug went out, or froze, even though I had antifreeze in it, but it must have gotten cold enough. So I'm going to swap the engine from the white truck into the black truck. Never done it in my life. Barely know how to change oil, so this should be quite an interesting treat. Hope you watch it. Thanks.